Hey, it's Terry Levine. I'm glad that you are joining me. And I'm really excited today to share one of my clients who is definitely a entrepreneur and who's really rocking it and making a difference and does something in her business to make a real difference and something you might actually want to consider to have in your business. And I've asked her to come by and just share what's happening for her since we've been working together and what she's doing. And she's really doing some pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to have her tell a little bit about herself and tell in a sentence or two a little bit about what her business does. And then I'm going to take you through the process with her. So Shelly, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I have started a app building business. And we help people build their first app, whether they're building it for their own company or they're interested in starting their own app development company. But we can do that without any programming or coding experience. They can actually jump in and use a really neat system without too much technical knowledge, and they can not only create and build and develop their app, but publish on iTunes, Android, and Kindle. So it's absolutely amazing.
Great. That is so exciting. And I'm excited with you, and I'm excited for you. So, some of you, as you're listening, you might be saying, oh, I might want to have an app. So keep that in mind. And then, Shelly, talk a little bit about how we first met, how you came across me, and then why you decided to jump into a program with me.
Well, I've been seeing you all throughout the internet. I've been seeing those little nuggets of wisdom that you gave, and I really like the way you presented yourself as a entrepreneur. That to me is important because there's sometimes you get people that business is business, and they're willing to give up a lot as far as helping people because business is business. And to me, it shouldn't be that way. You should be out there helping each other and building together and growing together, experiencing all those things together. And when you presented yourself as that, I was really excited about that because that is my mantra. I don't want just my success. I want to be in the middle of other people's success. To me, it's almost like birthing a child. You kind of put it out there and you want good things for it. And my hope is to actually birth many, 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 many children so that we can have just a wonderful experience together as we continue to build our businesses and grow. So that part intrigued me about you. I was very excited about it. And I kept watching these nuggets of wisdom, and I thought, gosh, I really need to get more involved with this person and get some good guidance. I had pieces and parts of my business everywhere, but just couldn't get it honed in and dialed in to be able to get good results. And so I started off with a 6-week masterclass with you, and immediately, I mean, just right off the bat, I think even before we had the first, the live training, I actually started to line things up based on the things that you had said. And then it seems like every week when we had our trainings, it coincided with what I needed to know right then to be able to get something done right away. And now it's just, it's rolling. It's like a snowball effect now, and it's kind of rolling, and I'm trying to catch up with it.
Perfect. Well, we're going to get to there. So let me make a couple of points for those who are watching. Shelly said some things that are important for you to do in your business. So you want to be presenting yourself, who you are, how you are, transparently, authentically, in an integrous way, and showing up on the internet and showing up on social media. And when you show up on social media, what you really want to provide people are education and content. Education and content. She called them golden nuggets or wisdom, and that's really what it is. So let's take a look at where you were. Let's just do a before you jumped into the 6-week program with me. And then we'll talk about where you are today, and I think that will help people. So where were you when you said, okay, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do this? What was happening in your business?
I had 0 clients, $0, 0 coaching, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The only thing that I was getting was, of course, I'm an app builder myself. So I was building business-to-business apps and I was building other types of apps that was continuing to bring in money, but the coaching aspect of it was going absolutely nowhere. I was finding people, but I had that idea that you had to give them a 30-day free trial, and you had to give free, and then once they see how amazing your service is, they're going to want to pay you oodles of money. And what was actually happening was they were tire kickers, and they would come in, they'd take a look, they really wouldn't do anything. I had a membership site that was real basic. They wouldn't even log into that to get the guidance to be able to do the simplest of things. And I realized that I was doing it wrong. I just didn't know how I was doing it wrong. And after the first day you said, I want your program to be $2,500, nothing less. And my little brain just went, oh, I think I signed up for the wrong thing. Because I'd been giving it away for free and couldn't even get anybody to do anything. So I was like, no, I don't think this is going to work. So I had my doubts in the very beginning, but I rolled with it because I believe that people are put in your path for a reason. And I believe that this was something that I had to figure out how to do. You were the one that's supposed to guide me, so I was going to close my mouth and get her done. And after a couple of sessions, I realized, oh my gosh, look at what you're offering. You need to find the people that are not the tire kickers that are looking for the free handout. You're looking for the people that really do want to make the investment because they really do want an app, whether it's for their business or for their own development company that they want to create. So that was like an epiphany to me. And it was a good epiphany, a brain exploding epiphany, because then I thought, oh my gosh, it was the wrong people that I was getting in there. Once I get the right people, then things are going to roll. So then once I changed that, the whole design of the program changed. And it was not about free. It was about get it in, get it quick, get the message to them, and then if they don't show any interest, move on to the next one, because you're not looking for any tire kickers anymore. So that alone has made a huge difference. So now I've got a targeted launch date for the first, what I call cohort A. They will launch on April the 1st, which is in 3 days.
Yay!
Which is crazy. And they are ready to go. They are pumped and ready to go. And I've got 4 right now, and they are really, really excited. And I wanted to keep it small because I do want to make sure that I'm focusing on them, giving them all my attention, and working out the kinks and the bugs in the coaching program, so that when we go full live on May the 1st, everything will be set up and ready to go. So that's what's happened before and after, and it's actually been shocking to me that I did it in 6 weeks.
So let me back up to some things. This is so important. I think it's a normal reaction from talking to a lot of clients when I say, you know, we're going to start with a minimum of $2,500, and I could almost hear the like, what? And it's just fascinating to me because so many people have done more than $2,500 who were nervous about doing it. Some people are actually up to charging $5,000. One person's charging $7,500, and my all-time success story is charging $24,000 a client. So the first thing that I heard is that you were willing to take on the shift, because in week 1, we do a lot of mental shifting. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, and it was a huge, huge shift for me.
Good, good. It's that inner game, and I know probably some of the folks watching have read my book, Turbocharge, How to Transform Your Business as a Entrepreneur, and I deal a lot in that book with the mind. I can teach all the business actions. First, we've got to get the mindset right. And, you know, I really admire you, Shelley, because even though your mind was like, what, $2,500? I've been charging nothing. You stayed with it. You said, okay, here I am, shifting my mind in week 1. And then you started to design a program, and within 6 weeks, you've got people in the program, you're launching the program, you're going to have a bigger group in the next program, and so, you know, we're running it kind of as a case study, a pilot, which is what I always recommend. So what are some of the specific actions that you took over the 6 weeks? What can you remember some of the actions are that might help somebody who's listening in their business?
Well, one of the things I did was made sure that I was on every one of those webinar calls because that to me was really, really important. One of the things that I can do is talk myself right out of something. And those calls remind you what track you're trying to stay on. It's so, so easy to get derailed. So I think that was first and foremost the number one thing that I did. Pay attention, listen carefully, take notes, and then choose those things that I got out of it and then act on them immediately. There's no, you can't sit on it and cogitate about it. You've got to move. And that's the other big thing that I did was every time I heard one of those nuggets of wisdom, like, oh my gosh, another epiphany, I would go after it like a mama bear, just trying to wrap my brain around it and integrate it as quickly and as easily as I could into my system to make sure that that I learned from what I was listening to every single time. And I think those to me are the two biggest things, show up and take action. It's so easy to not show up, and it's even easier to never do a thing. I mean, it's so easy to never do a thing. You can think about it all day long, and you'll think this would be so successful if I did this, that, and the other. Well, you'll never know until you do it.
I love it. I love it. Let's speak to that. That is really good. That's words of wisdom. I hope everyone's breathing in. Because really, you know, all of us have probably enrolled in programs, gone to seminars, whatever, and, you know, then we haven't shown up. I mean, I'm part of a membership site that I pay $40 or $50 every month for, and just the other day I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get in there. I mean, it's not doing anything. Just like you were saying, people don't lock in. So number one is show up. So if you're in a program with me during the 6 weeks or in anything, get in the game. You know, if you're going to an event, get there. Don't make an excuse as to why you can't go. Show up. The second one is, I really like the way you were talking about this. You know, there's interesting for me to watch because we also have a private Facebook group, and I can see what everybody's doing, and people are talking and about what they're doing. They're helping each other, which is awesome. Those that are taking action are getting results. It's that plain. It's that simple, and it makes sense. The people who are taking fast action, like Shelley, are getting fast results. That also makes sense. So one of the things I watched you do, I would see at the end of a webinar, you'd know what to do. We'd get on the coaching call that week. We'd coach through whatever you needed. And I would see you go right into implementation. And I think that's where a lot of people lose out, is they're still learning, they're still processing, and they're not doing what they need to do in terms of implementing. So show up, take action fast, and implement what you've learned. That is phenomenal. So what else has happened over these weeks? What else have you discovered?
Well, I think probably my biggest discovery is it really is worth the $2,500. So I've actually bumped it up to $2,997.
Yay! You were keeping yourself a price.
I'm super excited about that. And that was probably just that's a big thing for me, because again, I was so convinced the way the internet works is you give it away for free first, and then they'll come running, and it so doesn't work that way. There's so much that I've learned as far as also being a entrepreneur and helping others, because during the process of me doing all the things that I needed to do for my business, I saw the other people in the group and some of the things that they were doing, and asked questions, and got involved and helped where I could, and listened everywhere I could to get any new nuggets of wisdom that I could implement into my business. And that part was great, because you don't want to be in business all by yourself. Because again, I think we can talk ourselves right out of taking action like we need to if we're doing it all by ourselves. But if we've got other people to bounce ideas off of, and let me give you for example, I was fighting with my logo, the Appreneur Pro logo, and I put black lettering for each of the levels, for the member level, the gold membership, and the platinum membership. And when I posted the logos for everyone to look at, I had someone jump in and say, you know, I think it'd be better if you put some color in there for the different membership levels. And I'd done that already, but I talked myself out of it because I thought, oh, no, it's too cartoony. So when she mentioned it, I was like, let me go back and look at it again and see what I think of it. And I immediately posted them up, and we had quite a few people jump in and say, oh, yeah, that looks way better. So that, to me, was part of that extra added benefit of being in that Facebook group and having people that could look at you with fresh eyes, a fresh mind, and give some perspective that maybe you've talked yourself out of or didn't even see. So that, to me, was a really important part of the group. And actually, I wish there was more. If any of you guys listening to this are part of the masterclass, jump in there, get involved, put your ideas up there, let people see them, hear them, think about them, and get input, because it really does make a difference. Like I said, you can talk yourself out of a lot of things that might actually have been the key to success.
That's excellent. So let's go over some of these concepts, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. So, you know, one of the key things for me, and I know you know me, so my mission and my vision is to create as many more entrepreneurs as I can and to leave that as my legacy. So I do business heart to heart in a very open, honest, transparent way. My goal is to help each person that I touch do business in that same way and be a true entrepreneur, which clearly you are. In the Facebook group, it's for clients only. You won't be able to find the group if you're not currently with us and haven't joined us yet, but it's a private group just for our clients that are going through the 6-week program together. And I love watching the group because I do see the group coming together and helping each other and supporting each other. And the more you use the group, the more questions you ask, the more help that you give, the more successful everyone is in the group. So I've really noticed the group. I put the word, put it down here, mastermind. That really did start to happen. People started to work together in almost a mastermind fashion. When Shelley put that up and said, you know, here's what I'm thinking, and somebody gives a suggestion. I saw just the other day, somebody was putting up a few different names for their possible webinar, and people were jumping in saying, what about this, what about that? And it was like, oh, thank you for reminding me. So there's really good things happening. You know, I remember many, many years ago, I was in a mastermind run by Mark Victor Hansen. And he talked about the power of the mastermind being that it's not 1 plus 1, but 1 plus 1 actually equals 11. And that always stuck with me. It's like energetically, you have so much more when there's a lot of minds coming together. So we do have the Facebook group. The other thing is the group coaching. So, I mean, I love the part where you're watching the webinars and you're going through the knowledge that you need. The truth of the matter is the expanded group coaching, and where I keep it small and where each person can now customize the program and can get moved on. And I even saw in the group coaching, because it's interactive, we have chat, we have something very similar to what I'm doing here where I take notes that you can see. We have had so many people help each other and jump in and connect. And just today, somebody was telling me they were on the phone with somebody else who was helping them. And the word that you said that I also resonated with was this one, you know, people being the eyes. And they are. We're all watching out for each other and we're noticing. So one of the pieces that I think has made Shelley so successful is that she's doing all of these things, and that she's not just joining something and not showing up. She's joining it. She's showing up. She's active. She's interacting. Anything else you want to add for somebody who maybe doesn't even understand what the difference in doing one-to-one kind of work is, or running a membership site, to what we're really looking at, which is the high-ticket signature coaching program? Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that one-to-one is got its benefits, But it's like you said, when you put one finger together and another finger together, you don't necessarily get 2, you get 11. And I like that idea because the value is in those extra set of eyes and those extra brains and all of those, the myriad of experiences that everybody has. And they might think on a level that I've never been exposed to before. So to get that input has way more value than just having the one coach that has a limited experience, even though they may have had a lot of experience. But they still may be missing that secret sauce, that one little piece that all of a sudden just kind of makes everything roll like a snowball down a hill.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting because as a coach, you know, I did one-to-one in the very beginning, so this is where I started. I started here with all this one-to-one stuff. And what happened for me is clients got results, and they took a pretty long time to get them. And there were only so many people I could ever impact because one-to-one takes obviously a lot of time. When I switched over here to the one-to-many model, all of a sudden I was impacting so many more people, and what was really happening, that was most exciting, is there was synergy. So these people were coming together, and I know you've noticed this on the call. So if I'm coaching one person, the other day I think I was coaching Raven about something, 2 or 3 other people, I think Dana was one of them, was typing a comment saying, I'm so glad you asked that question, or that really helped me. Or then I went over to Donna and said, Donna, I saw you had a question. She said, are you kidding? You just nailed it when coaching somebody else. So I think the benefits are the synergy, and you know, this is the way I think about it. When you're coaching one-to-one, you end up saying some of the same things over and over. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I find myself really talking to clients about a lot is the inner game. Before we even start, they want all the actions of building a business, and I get them into the inner game. So if I were on the phone working with 6, 7, 8 clients in a day, I would be repeating that information over and over again. Right? And now we move over here and we put people in a group, and I say the information one time, which means I can go on and teach a lot more information in a compacted amount of time. So instead of a client working with me for about 6 months, which is how I used to actually teach this content, Shelley is a walking example. In just 6 weeks, the content not only was delivered, she has action and clients from it. So think about your own content as you're listening to Shelley and me. One-to-one means you're doing the stuff over and over and over again. You're not leveraging and optimizing your time, and you really don't have a business because you don't have a lifestyle. Group allows you to work a lot less hours and get much, much better results and outcomes and impact a larger number of people.
Can I add to that, Terry?
I had a feeling, sure.
Here's the other thing that I think goes right back to being an actual entrepreneur too, is when you do one-on-one coaching, I think it would be easy for the coachee to get very dependent on the coach. And that way, they don't make a move without that coach. But when you do it in a group setting, and you're getting input from all directions, and you're actually learning how to solicit help as well, that starts moving you to being an independent business builder, which means you can be successful without that coach. And I know that's probably not the financial good thing to say, because you obviously want, if you're a coach, you want to get paid to be a coach. So I guess it'd be good to have people that were dependent on you. But I think if you're a true entrepreneur, you want them to be independent.
Wow, that is huge. We're going to address that. Oh, I just resonate with you so much. So I'll use my own personal story here. You know, I had somebody that was helping me with some healthcare issues years ago, kind of like a coach, I guess. And I became really dependent on those one-to-one sessions. When I had a healthcare issue, it was like, oh, I got to plug into this person. And I had a dependency on the person. And honestly, what I learned about that for myself was that was very, very unhealthy. So I moved from doing that personally myself into a group situation where there's 5 of us who have different health issues. We're not all the same, and we're all dealing with some different things. And within the group, we've been helping each other. We've been, in fact, like I have a certain way of eating that's anti-inflammatory, so I've been sharing that with the group. Somebody else has some great exercise ideas for people who have some neurological issues and has been sharing that. So the group itself, we're learning, we're molding, we're getting to know each other, and I have a whole support network now. And yes, the coach facilitator is an important part of that. The whole thing doesn't revolve on the coach. So I think that's an important model. Now let's look at how coaches typically get paid. Typically coaches get paid for time. They're just trading time for money. I did that. I mean, I did that for a year until I realized it was not the right thing 20-something years ago. What we want you to get paid on, and what Shelley gets paid on, what I get paid on, and what my clients get paid on are outcomes. They're real results. So I don't want to keep a client forever. In fact, if I have, keeping a client forever, that's a problem. It's something that I'm not doing right because I'm creating a codependency. I want my clients to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. I want them to be independent. I want them to be able to have additional help, additional support, additional resources. I have an educational library that's ongoing for my clients and all kinds of other things. As a coach, as a consultant, as a mentor, as anything, you should be paid really for doing 2 things, getting people outcomes and getting people results. And if you can't get people outcomes or results with what you're doing, do something else, because otherwise you're what I refer to, you're a false expert. You're somebody who might have some knowledge or expertise, but you don't know how to help somebody else really get that, understand that, so they can get an outcome or result. So before you dig in and say, oh, I'm going to have my own group coaching program or training or mentoring or whatever it might be, know what outcomes you can deliver and what results. Anything else around that for you, Shelley?
No, I think that's great. I really like the entrepreneur aspect of it, and trying to make sure in your mind you're not milking people, you are guiding people so that they can do it on their own. And that is my goal with the Appreneur Pro as well, is give them a 6-week program that absolutely guarantees the delivery that they will publish an app, which is almost unheard of. And I will be teaching them how to do that in the 6 weeks. They will have a published app by the end of the 6 weeks, which blows my mind too, even though I know I can do it. And then, because it's so exciting. And I know what it's like to get that first app published. But then after that, if they want to continue on, we've got additional training for them to go into the more advanced features. And the goal is to get them working and learning and doing so they can, if they want to develop their own mobile app development business, they're ready to go. They have all the tools they need, and I'm there to back them up, but not be their sole source of the drive of their business.
I love this. So I love the word that you used, guide. It's such a wonderful word. It really lets people know we're not doing the work for you, we're helping you, we're with you. And just think about this. The program that Shelley created, you actually, if you work with her in her program, you have not only have an app, because some people can say, oh, well, I'll help you develop an app. I've had people come to me and say, I'll help you develop an app. I haven't had anybody say to me, and in 6 weeks, I'm going to guarantee your app will be published. Like that, it does blow my mind. I think it's so and I think it's very cool. I think a lot of people's businesses would really benefit by having a published app. So I think that's phenomenal. I think it's wonderful and it's really awesome. And what's smart, and I want people to really think about, is in 6 weeks we can achieve a goal, an outcome, or result. Shelley's doing it, right? You're going to have your app published with Shelley. And then she knows that there's other things you're going to need, you're going to want. And so she says, okay, now I have a training program that can take people that want more to the next level. So think about that when you're looking at building your own program. What can I help somebody accomplish? We usually use a 6-week time frame. What's a result? What's an outcome they really want that I know I can deliver on? And then is there something else that people might need above that or beyond that? And what does that look like, and how do I offer that? So, boy, that's great info. So you were sharing some things with me. I should just tell the folks watching, we didn't get on and prepare or script anything. And
No.
being transparent, it was kind of funny. I tried to use my desktop, and for whatever reason, my desktop would not open this webinar service. It just kept refusing, and Shelley was texting me, say, I'm ready, and I'm like, okay, I've switched to my laptop. So as I was setting up my laptop, we had just a few seconds to chat before we went live here, and she was filling me in on some cool things in her business, and I said, don't forget, I want you to make sure that everybody gets to hear that. So we didn't script anything. We didn't prepare anything. I just know she's been rocking it, and she's really kick-ass, and so I wanted her to come. So, yeah, why don't you share a little bit about what you were sharing with me as I was setting up my laptop today?
Well, now that I have a clear picture of the value of my business, the value of what I offer, my value as a coach, I can say much easier now what I have available to offer. Before it was like, well, you could try it for free, and if you like it, it's just whatever, But now it's very targeted. So what I did was I jumped into a couple of Facebook. I'm big into Facebook. I love Facebook. And so I jumped into a few Facebook groups, and somebody had mentioned, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to build an app or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And I responded, oh my gosh, I've got a great way to build an app that's super easy. PM me if you're interested. That was it. And they started rolling in like right away. People were like, I want to know more about it. And instead of the old me would have spent 10 hours chatting with them on Facebook going, yeah, you can do this, and all typing it out. So it's taken a long time, and it's really too much information, all that stuff. But with the training, I invited them to connect with me via Skype or Facebook Messenger Live or anything like that for a 5 to 10 minute discussion on what I had to offer. And I specifically said, if it resonates with you, we can take the next step. That simple. It wasn't, oh, and you can build this kind of app and that kind of app. It was so simple. So I got, we were actually traveling on the road to see my daughter. She's pregnant with her first. So people would PM me, and on the road, I would say, can you meet at 2:30? And they'd say yes. So I was literally in the car. The first one I talked to, I had my phone in the dashboard, the thing that opens the dashboard, and the thing kept coming down, so I'd have to like peek underneath it. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm in the car, and the glove box thing keeps coming down. And she was like, that's okay. I literally talked to her for like 6 minutes maybe, and gave her a really short rendition of what I was doing, and she said, I want on board. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what, you text me your email, and then I will take the next step to get you an invitation to the program. And that was as easy as it got. I was stunned when I hung up how when I didn't go into all those techie details that I would have before, I just made it really simple. 6-week program, guaranteed you're going to build an app. You can build it for yourself or your company, or you can decide afterwards that you want to build a mobile app development company, but guaranteed at the end of 6 weeks you'll have an app that is published. And it was literally that simple. And we did it all day, the day that we were driving, and then the next day we'd go like eat, and then I'd do a live session, and then we'd go see a movie, and I'd do another live session. And it was just literally 5 to 10 minutes of giving them the real quick rundown, and then saying, all right, all I need is your email, and I'll give you an invitation. That was it.
Great. So let's pick up some points there. I just love that story. So she's not selling anybody, and really catch that. She's being a entrepreneur. She's having these very simple, short conversations, because when you have conversations with people who aren't tire kickers and who raise their hand, she said, PM me if you're interested. They raise their hand. They're like, yes, I'm interested. So she's talking to people that she knows are interested, right, Shelley? And then And then the end of the conversation, where there's no stress, no pressure to buy anything, she's inviting them into a program where in 6 weeks, you're going to have your app published, not just built, published, and it's guaranteed. So she doesn't have to give a long explanation. She doesn't have to get techie. And it's very simple. They raised their hands because she said, PM me. So they sifted themselves out and said, I'm interested. They got on the phone with her, so now they even raised their hand a bit higher. If they're a good fit, she doesn't have to sell them. She tells them how it works. If you're a good fit, here's your invitation. Boom. That is literally the process, and it's perfect. And you're literally following what I teach so magnificently.
Yeah. That's exactly it. You're exactly right. And what's really funny is I was talking to my husband, and I had a couple of people that they couldn't give me a time. Oh, they were busy. They weren't sure. And I said I left it as, I would love to talk to you, so you contact me when you're ready. And I left them at that. And I told my husband I will never chase another person again for my program. Never.
Yay. Good. Let me address that. Oh, boy, am I glad you mentioned that. So it's so funny that you brought that up. Someone who's in the program with you was talking to me just a few hours ago, and they said, what do I do, Terry? It's Kathy. She's in the program. She said, what do I do? Talk to somebody. They said they're super duper interested, and they didn't show back up. And she said, my normal routine is I chase them around, or I hope and I pray they're going to come back.
That's exactly what I did.
I used to do it too, so I'm laughing because I relate to it. And so my philosophy is, I'm a no chase zone. I don't do chase, and we don't do chase. So very simple. All I said to her is, as long as you said to them, I'm leaving the door open, people are like on a parade. This is how I view it. 1% of the people that know what we're doing are interested to work with us today. And the other 99% might be interested, but not today. It might be tomorrow, it might be a week from now, it might be 3 months from now, or a year from now. So we want to keep the door open. We want to keep active on social media. We want to keep sending value content emails. We want to do Facebook Lives that have value. We want our webinars to be valuable so that people can stay engaged with us and they can get content that's valuable. And we never need to chase anyone. It's so not important to chase anyone. There's just no reason to chase anyone. And the one little thing that I'll give folks as a caveat is I send one email on occasion. And it basically says, I'm closing, I haven't taught you this yet, Shelley, so I'll teach something new. I say I'm closing my file. So let's just say that we spoke and you said, oh, Terry, I might want you to ghostwrite a book for me. And I say, okay, when? And you say, I'll call you next week. And you don't. I don't chase you. But, a month from now, I might send you a little email that says, hey, Shelley, I'm closing my file. We talked about doing the book project, and I'm guessing I didn't hear from you, so you're not interested, and I'm closing my file. Now, here's what happens. Sometimes those people instantly call me, text me, email me, and say, I am interested, I forgot, or I am interested, the timing wasn't right. Don't take me off. I want to stay active. Now I know I stay engaged. And sometimes they actually email me back and say, yeah, I've moved on, or I decided not to do that project, or whatever. And it really helps me, again, with my sorting, sifting, and separating. What do you think of that? I didn't get to teach that.
I like that idea because there are those few that I never did get that 5 to 10 minute talk with them. So they're ones that I could definitely say, we're closing the books on this April the 1st launch date. So if you're interested, I'd love for you to contact me. And I appreciate your time and leave it at that. And if they don't contact me, take them off my list.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So in the last couple minutes we have before I really want you to share contact information so people can get in touch with you and find out how to get their app published in 6 weeks. Any last couple of words that you want to share?
There's so many. This has been such a journey for me. Just to give a little bit of information about myself, before I was in the app business, I was actually a high school biology teacher of all things. And so I do have a lot of things that I learned from being a high school teacher for sure. But I ended up having an amputation of my right leg above the knee, and it redid my life. There's no doubt about it. It redirected everything. Things had to change because obviously I could not be up on my feet all day. Had a lot of recovering to do. And I had to redirect my brain to do something else besides the love that I have for teaching. So I did several things, but one of them was start the app business. And I have been in love with teaching. And doing the app business is another love that I have because I love technology and computers and learning new things and challenging new things. So this coaching program was a natural progression. Once I figured out I was really good at building apps, then I kind of progressed into, wow, I can teach people how to build apps. And I'm saying all that to say that don't ever limit yourself, ever. There would have been never a moment in my life that I would have ever said that I would paint, because I've never considered myself artistic. In fact, I've always called myself artistically challenged. And in the process of building on app business and becoming something different than what I was as a teacher, a high school biology teacher, I've learned that nothing is out of bounds now. And so now I'm painting, and I'm actually enjoying painting, and actually I think I'm getting halfway decent. So
I saw that one painting. It's phenomenal. It's more than halfway decent.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so exciting. So if I had anything to tell anybody that's listening, don't ever limit yourself, and don't ever talk yourself out of doing something that you feel passionate about. You may run into the brick walls that I run into, but hopefully you'll run into the Terry Levine that helps to kind of align everything and get you on that railroad track to get you towards that passion that you know that you're excited about it. You know you want to do it, so do it. Don't sit back and think about it, or 20 years later think, oh, I wish I would have done that. Do it now. While you can, while you're able, get past all of the challenges that are in the way, because you're going to have challenges, there's no doubt about it. Plow through them like a bull and get it done, because you'll think differently about yourself. That's the cool part of it, is when you come out and you've done these things that you never thought you could do, like the painting. I was like, I'm still walking around going, wow, those are the pictures that I painted. And just like the apps, wow, those are the apps that I made. And this process of helping other people to build apps, I'm hoping that they'll experience that same feeling that I get when I build the app and publish. It's just an exciting feeling when you put something out there into the world. And you've done it in a way that makes you feel good about yourself.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I also appreciate you being transparent, sharing your story. And, it is true. The only limits we ever impose have to do with what's up here, and that's it. And everyone has passions and abilities and capabilities, and there really are no limits. So this is exciting. Well, how can people get their app published in 6 weeks? How do they connect with you? What's the best way?
They can actually go to apppreneurpro.com. That's APPRENEUR pro.com. It's that easy.
That is easy. That is super easy. And all I can say is go there. This is something that is really great to have in your business, having your own app, but it's really unheard of. I talk to so many different friends that have paid, I can't even tell you how much to have apps built, and they said, 6 weeks, what? And I said, yeah, it's 6 weeks. It's really amazing. So I highly recommend that you go there and that you connect with Shelley. And if you have any questions about Shelley, about me, about the program, happy to speak with you. And we hope that what we've gone over here in sharing Shelley's business, her case study, her background, her information has helped you in your business in some way, and that's our purpose in coming here, and we'd love to hear from you. Shelley, any final words before we say our goodbye?
All I can say to everybody is make it a great day, and make it your day.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much for being my guest today, Shelley. I appreciate you, and thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, reach out. We're here for you. Bye for now.